I enjoy looking like a tart and thinking like a politician. Great answer.
Hey, everybody out there. Welcome back to another episode of the Audiophiles. It's Andy and John here, and we are going to discuss a tune today. And the tune, John, is...
So we're back with PJ Harvey, continuing our second jazz funk odyssey of discovery of an artist. So we're on to another album, another sound, and the song that I've chosen is Long Snake Moan.
Okay. Well, this is not another live performance, is it?
No.
Okay. Good to know how to prepare myself. All right.
You will anyway.
Let me go off and give this track a listen, and I'll come back and let you and everybody out there know my thoughts. Talk about instant gratification. I mean, just this bombastic hit right from the word go. And this rhythm section is very muscular. It's got some heft to it. And dare I say, almost industrial-like sounds to it. But yeah, this thing's got meat on the bones. And I like it. Okay, there is just so much grit and angst in her voice, which just further amplifies just the edginess and the kind of like visceral emotion of the whole soundscape of the song has. Really, like it's just tough. And I know that she is herself, but every aspect of this song right now is just fortified with this strength to it. That vocal delivery is just wrought with emotion. Yeah, I like what I'm hearing thus far. I love that. All right. Letting that bass have this space is all right. I'm going to take this back. I throughout this verse, I guess it's the third verse or something. I think because it sounded like she went back to back verses, then chorus into another verse here. It's the guitar cutting out in this, or kind of like pulling back and letting this again industrial sounding fuzzed out bass kind of like giving it room to work is super effective. And it also it does the same thing for her vocal delivery as well. It puts added sort of emphasis on what she's saying because it's one less thing you have to cut through to get to it. Also, I think I heard bits of like keys gently being touched in this otherwise very dark kind of setting, which is interesting because it's like little pierces of sunlight coming through like a blackout curtain that's got a couple holes punched in it or something. And so just little bits of light is being able to bleed through. And I like that touch because it's otherwise so very dark and heavy. I'd probably still like it if it just remained dark and heavy, but I do like I enjoy that she did this, and it wasn't something that I had expected to hear in the mix, unless my ears are playing tricks on me. But I do feel like I'm hearing some sort of keys gently being stroked. Um, um, oh, that guitar. Hmm. Yeah, so if I were to do like word association with this track, just single words, adjectival to describe this, it would be like gritty, edgy, heavy, earnest, and daring. Um, it's just got so much. It is such a masculine sounding song, which I know is maybe not the most politically correct way to put it, but just the idea, or the 20th century ideal of masculinity, sort of this heavy, hard, and it's coming from PJ Harvey, which she's turning that on its head, that ideal. She's turning on its head, which is pretty fucking cool. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. The Rid of Me performance had such gravity behind it that video I liked more, but I liked this song a bit better, if that makes sense. And this is now our third track by PJ I believe we've done on the channel. So yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Always interested to learn more about her. So let's get back to John.
Santa Maria is back. So, you survived long snake moan. Only just, I can tell. What were your thoughts?
I found myself saying Santa Maria a couple times in my head as I was listening to this. It's funny you mentioned that. Yeah, man. Right out of the gate, I just love the bombastic energy with which the song like instantly hits. It's really like instant gratification from the word go, and I attribute a lot of that to this muscular, dare I say, masculine like rhythm section that drives with such a commanding presence. And I like that because she's kind of turning the ideal of the 20th century perception of masculinity, and even before then, kind of on its head by being this woman behind all of this noise. And I'm not sure what the effect is that's used on her vocals, but it and the driving progression almost kicks off shades of like some industrial kind of rock that is kind of being tinkered with in the sound, which I enjoy. There's just so much grit and angst in her voice, which further amplifies the edginess and kind of visceral emotion to the whole soundscape of the song. So, as an example, I will talk about this one line, but this technique transcends this one line. But she does this throughout the verses where she'll sing, "I'll be no hell," and there's like this play on the syllables of the words, and she puts like oomph and emphasis on that first syllable or word in each instance, since it's pretty monosyllabic for the most part, these lines, these little clipped phrases that she's using, and this adds so much attitude and character to the delivery, and it's just an observation that made me go, good shit. So I thought I'd mention it. This isn't crazy or mind-bending, but I like the bit after the first verse, which allows the full weight of the music to hit you again before the song moves into the next verse, kind of reinvigorating, and just that, particularly that rhythm section. And after the chorus, there is some great fevered and scratchy guitar work, and it gives the song added friction and a coarse texture like musical sandpaper. And the third verse gets a little more moody with the absence of the guitar, which is interesting technique. They kind of pull back on that, and it pushes into the focus mainly her voice and that crawling, unsettling overdrive bass that's creeping kind of beneath the surface. And I think I'm also catching, I think I'm catching bits of keynotes just edging their way into the frame and focus. Lovely counterpoints to all this heaviness, like tiny bits of sunlight creeping through cracks in a blackout curtain. It's just a great touch. I love that. Now, I think it's keys, but it might be some interesting little guitar work or something, but okay, it is keys. Excellent. Yeah, loved that. It was, I don't know, like a little flower growing out of this bed of like horny weeds and everything, where you're like, oh my God. And I love the guitar blast during the latter portion where she sings about her voodoo working. She then punctuates those guitar blasts with and shouts the word when she shouts the word moan, and it's like the guitar and her shouting the moan are like watching two heavyweights going blow to blow. And who doesn't like that woo that she bellows out too? I mean, come on, it's great. This was gritty, edgy, earnest, daring. She's got this fuck with me kind of attitude, this fuck with me and find out kind of attitude. And I'm totally here for it. It's hard for me to say this, but I think if I held just the songs up against one another, this would be my favorite of the three that we've done on the channel. But that video for Rid of Me is hard to beat because of the performance and the whole vibe and gravity of that situation.
Yeah,
But just song for song, not video to video, I would probably think I would just put this one just as an edge above it in my estimation. Loved this thing now. It's great.
fair enough. Fantastic. Yeah, I'll get into it. And as Andy alluded, people who haven't really seen, we've already done 2 songs by PJ Harvey. I'm trying to go album to album and take a track from each. So playlist, which I'll put a link down below description of this, and you can go and check out the previous episodes where we talk all about her emergence, fully formed from a giant egg, and how she descended upon the world. Yeah, just about this song. It's really interesting, and I'll go into it. But those qualities that we talked about in the previous 2 ones are still there, but they've just slightly turned and twisted to show a different approach to each song. I mean, I absolutely adore Rid of Me. It's unbelievable. But I think this album is definitely a progression. It's another step up, and she continues doing so throughout her career. It's unbelievable, really is. So, as I alluded to, this is from the album To Bring You My Love. That one there.
Freudian slip.
Which I think this is a thumbnail as well. Yeah. As the PJ Harvey trio had, come apart at this point, this is in essence first true solo album, even though it still has the name PJ Harvey as the others did. This album is heavily influenced by the blues that we've just been speaking about. From Lead Belly, Howlin' Wolf, and Blind, Lemon Jefferson to Captain Beefheart. In fact, the opening line of this album, I Was Born in the Desert, is also the exact opening line of Beefheart's debut studio album, Safe as Milk.
Yeah.
This really is the sound of some sort of gothic, godforsaken deep south, full of blood and Bibles and sinners and victims and love and despair. It is considered her breakthrough album. It's sold over 1 million copies worldwide. Reached number 12 in the UK charts and number 40 in America. So let's go back to how it started. So PJ Harvey took a bit of a break. It was pretty full on couple of years. She released 2 studio albums and also that demos album as well. Her band has split up. So she kept a low profile in 1994. Using the royalties from those releases, she bought a house in rural England, close to her parents' home in Yeovil. She described her new home as completely in the countryside. I have no neighbours. When I look out the window, all I see is fields. So living in near isolation, she began writing the songs that would appear on this album. She also reinvented her look, and it was a continuation of that transformation from the Tonight Show appearance. This new unsettling persona with like a cracked glamour and sultry poison of a murderess Rita Hayworth. When asked why she had reinvented herself as a monstrous vamp, they called her a vamp, answered, I enjoy looking like a tart and thinking like a politician. Great answer. The tone as well is different from the previous 2 albums, with songs exploring from a different angle, the same sort of subject perhaps, but really how someone can be unhinged is the best word, by all-consuming craving for sex and love and spiritual salvation and even human connection. And it often covers, the songs cover either the loss or the longing for a departed lover. And within that sort of bluesy mythology, there are several allusions to biblical imagery.
Hmm.
Although not religious in any way, she enjoys using it as a vehicle for exploring answers. And
I
not
thought I
sure.
picked up on bits and pieces of the lyrics that were biblical in reference, so
Yeah.
that makes sense.
A lot of the songs actually take a much softer approach, with the exception of Meet the Monster and Long Snake Moan. So there is also a much more complex musical language and arrangements within the album. So you've got bell chimes, vibraphones adding to the atmosphere. Keyboards and organs were used extensively as a result of the album actually being composed on a Yamaha keyboard that Harvey bought secondhand. And she plays the organ in every single song pretty much. And a lot of times the deep organ tones provide many of the lower notes and sometimes replace traditional bass lines. So for this album, for the most part, definitely for this song, Harvey on vocals and Hammond organ and piano, Mick Harvey bass, John Gore guitar, and John Parrish drums and guitar and percussion. So the first single off the album, Down by the Water, a charming little number about a mother drowning her daughter, gave Harvey her biggest radio hit to date. It reached #2 in the Billboard's modern rock charts. And there's this eccentric video of Harvey drowning in an emerald pond with still, which is, the cover, wearing this extravagant wig, heavy makeup, and the slinky red satin number. It has the feel of some sort of warped or parodied fairy tale, maybe Ophelia, or even a baptized femme fatale born again. The album received universal praise. I won't go through all of that, but it was voted best album of the year in the Village Voices Paz and Job critics poll by a wide margin. It was
Yeah.
also voted the year's #1 album by publications such as Rolling Stone, New York Times, People, US Today, Hot Press, and in quotes, the biggest landslide victory in 15 years, the Los Angeles Times. It featured in the top 10 list for Spin, NME, Melody Maker, Mojo, and The Wire. It received 2 Grammy Award nominations as Best Alternative Music Performance and Best Female Rock Vocal for the single Down by the Water. It was also nominated for the Mercury Music Prize. Spin magazine ranked it at #3 in the list of the best albums of the 90s.
Yeah.
And in 2003, Rolling Stone magazine ranked it at number 435 in its list of 500 greatest albums of all time. This song also appears in season 2, episode 4 of Peaky Blinders, with Arthur Shelby enjoying some female company.
Damn, now I'm gonna have to go back. I literally just watched this a few weeks ago. We wrapped it up a few weeks ago, but I'll have to go back and pinpoint that. There's so many great songs used in that series. So many great songs.
A lot of White Stripes in there as well, and all sorts. Yeah.
Yeah.
The title references an old blues song, Black Snake Moan by Blind Len Jefferson. Interesting, on the album, the song prior to it, Telco, which goes into a bit of the mythology of that, she implores God, let me ride on his grace. And then there's that and it's quite a gentle song. And as it finishes, then at the start of this, you get that it's kind of like, all right, you're not fucking listening to me, listen to this, and then bang. Yeah. So lyrics. Duck you under deep salt water. Bring me, lover, all your power. I'll be no hell out of your spell. Over, under, die of pleasure. In my dreaming, you'll be drowning. Hell's low, God above, all drunk on my love. You ought to hear my long snake moan. You ought to see me crawl my room. Duck you under deep salt water. In my dreaming, you'll be drowning. Raise me up, Lord. Call me Lazarus. Hey, Lord, hail me. Make ready my veil. You ought to hear my long snake moan. You ought to see me crawl my room. It's my voodoo working. It's my voodoo working. It's my voodoo working. It's my voodoo working. Moan, 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 moan. Woo! Moan, moan, moan. From the Quietus website, they say the blistering, unholy din of long snake moan has the dank aesthetic of an underground action flick, with filthy riffs and blasts of noise that detonate like bombs, while Harvey snarls about drowning ritual and resurrection like a mythical warrior queen on a power and pleasure trip. It's my voodoo working, she crows at the end, and as the ground cracks beneath her feet and the walls cave in. That's a lovely bit, all right.
Yeah.
So there's destruction and power. I've said it before right at the start. I mean, the one thing, she is a fierce individual and she just emanates power.
Yeah.
And it's so and she's a midget. And she's just so refreshing as this sort of female role model. And there bloody weren't many of them around, especially in the early 90s.
Yeah.
Of this ilk.
And the ones that were probably had to go through so much bullshit to get there.
Yeah.
You know, and we've talked about a couple of them here.
Yeah, and like I think I said to you before, I like the Brits Awards, in the UK. For like about 3 decades, it was either Annie Lennox or Kate Bush. They were the only 2 bloody nominees for Best Female Artist for like 2 decades. It was ridiculous. Yeah. Just didn't get a voice, and so she really is a force of nature and something to behold. And yeah, you wait till you get further down the line, so happens even more like, what the hell? So yeah, can't wait.
I look forward to it. Yeah.
This album is amazing. I absolutely adore the previous 2, but I really, sometimes, not always, but sometimes this is my favorite album of hers. It is amazing. And then other times it'll be another one.
Yeah.
But they're really such a high quality.
I was gonna say, it speaks to the strength of her catalog, right?
It really does. It really does. Brilliant. Okay, well, we will continue this on another episode with another track. But for now, cheerio, PJ. Thanks for listening to this, Andy.
Thank you.
Folks out there, tell us what you think. You enjoy a bit of Madam Harvey? What do you think of this track? If you like this, hit the like button, or she'll come for you. She will. Please drop your comments. She might now. She's lovable. She's an old eccentric now. But back then, ooh. Yeah, drop some comments. We'd love to hear from you. Everything you want to talk about, PJ, about this album, this track, other tracks, whatever. We love hearing from you. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. We really appreciate everybody who supports the channel. As we grow bigger, taller, stronger, faster, we could not do it without you. We'd give it a go, obviously, but it helps. It really does. So we appreciate that. That being said, thanks again so much for watching, and we'll see all of you on the next episode of the Audiophiles.
See you later, guys.